Hi everyone. So I'm here today to show you guys how I actually managed to build this AI tool that's tailored to my teaching approach for my students. And I didn't write a single line of code myself because to be honest, I have no coding knowledge at all. I'm really a noob when it comes to anything that has to do with coding. But I managed to build this entirely out of Claude myself. So I have some background is that I've been using Claude for the past year and I do have a pro account with them. And I use it extensively for my work. That means it's whether it's analysis and things like that. Anything to do with my work, I've been doing it. So it does have quite a bit of memory of my teaching approach as well. So I decided that I wanted to build this because the gap that I was trying to fill here is that sometimes in between lessons, especially when I mark my students' work, I do notice that they may get stuck on the word or grammar rule, and it may be something that we may have covered in our worksheets or our lessons already, but there is no one for them to ask. And as we know, students nowadays, they actually do their work quite late as well. Unless they do their work all the way until 9 to 10, and we may not be there to attend to them all the time. But I decided that, okay, I'm going to try to build this tool to help them with to be like the in-between like lessons helper. And they can also learn it at their own pace. So this is actually more like a support system for them. Yeah. And the way that I share a little bit about my teaching philosophy that actually also goes behind this AI tool is that I don't believe that information should be spoon-fed and they should learn through clear examples. So later on when I do my demo, you will see that the prompt actually doesn't feed the information to the child straight away. There are some guiding questions using the Socratic guidance. So a little bit about the Socratic approach is that they actually use a form of like dialogue-based inquiry and foster critical thinking by asking probing questions. So instead of just giving the direct information, which we can, I think, just get from Google, my AI tool actually asks them some questions about, okay, what do they know about the word, whether it's like positive or negative, something like this. Yeah, and there will be clear examples, meaning to say that, for example, if they ask for the meaning of a word, it will actually provide some sentences to show how this word can be used in context as well. And I also made it level aware because I want to I made this with my students in mind, right? So I'm actually teaching from P3 all the way to Set 2. So I made this in such a way that you can actually set the level before you ask the question so that the system can actually explain the word at level. Yeah. And what else does this do is, so I actually have a few revised versions of this. The very initial stage is I wanted it to just be a targeted help for my students. But later on, I added all this as well to a parent's feedback. So you get to explore a word. Let's say, for example, the student wants to learn a word that day. So they can pitch their level and the system will suggest some word they can learn or explore a grammar rule, because even though as the English teacher, I do know all the rules, the student might not know. So for example, the system can actually suggest, okay, do you want to learn about the past perfect or the present perfect tense today, for example? Yeah, so it's actually for students who already know what they need. So they skip the menu and they jump straight to the question as well. So that's why I have 3 prompts inside this tool that I have. Yeah. And how it was built was that, like I mentioned, I have totally no knowledge of coding. It is really powered by the system prompt that is done by Claude, and it tells the AI, right, exactly how to behave with the students. The tool that I really developed is really for a very specific purpose. If for vocabulary and grammar help only, there is no way you can ask it like essay question and give me some point. No homework shortcut as well. And I think the system, this was the process that the system put inside some of the processes. It puts in my teaching approach and it sets the level rules and it tests and refines. But this one is a little bit technical because this is what the system built inside my AI tool based on its knowledge of my teaching approach. Yeah. The choices that it made, right, with my teaching approach in mind is that it decided that, okay, it will do Socratic approach over spoon feeding, so there's no direct information. So the result is that students get to think before they receive, and it results in understanding and not just memorizing it. Yeah. And again, it's English only, no asking math or science or anything. Maybe we can try putting in a science term. I'm not sure whether anything will come out or not because I haven't tried it myself. Yeah, I just tried it with English related because it's really a very specific tool. And there is a clear, trustworthy purpose that parents can explain to their children as well. So it does come with, when you put in the word, it does come with a set of explanations. So sometimes if the child finds it a bit hard to process, right, or if the parent is doing it with the child, right, the parent can also use the explanation. The parent don't actually have to go through that thinking process because the system has already done it for the child, for the parent in that sense as well. That's why it's a very parent-child friendly tool. It's level aware from the start. So this one I already mentioned, it really covers the range of the students that I'm currently teaching. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys the process, okay, of how I actually generated the prompt first before I show you how the tool works. And let me just bring my other screen onto here. Okay, how I first started was, as you can see, I do have quite a number of projects over the past year, right, that covers all my work. So what I did in this case is I wanted to run a custom GPT because I've been seeing some educators who created custom GPT tools for their students, and I'm very interested in doing something for my students likewise as well. So I say, okay, can I have a custom GPT for my student? This is the prompt that I just put inside Claude first. Can I have a custom GPT for my students to increase their vocabulary or grammar exposure? And I think right now Claude is really quite advanced already, because they will even go on to ask me some prompting questions first before they go into what I need. So they actually ask me, okay, these were the questions they asked me, or because they know that these are the levels of students I'm working with. And they ask me, okay, what are the levels and what is the student's actions I'm hoping for? So this was what I input for them. I want all levels, that means from B3 to 2. And what do I want the students to be able to do with it? So these were the options they gave me. I decided that I want them to get explanations when they start and learn new words with example. Because again, like I say, this is tailored to my teaching approach. Yeah, so I don't just want them to spoon feed the answer straight away. Yeah. And yeah, you can see that Claude is really advanced. I was scrolling a little bit. They even continue ask me before he built my tool, when a student is stuck, how much should he give, or what should he do, and what is the scope? Is it going to be strictly English, or he can answer general questions? So I wanted it to be strictly English. How much it should give away, right? This one I thought for a little while. Then I thought, okay, because it's also the way I teach my students, I want the student to take a little bit to prompt their thinking before I guide them to the answer. So this one that's why the system will actually ask you a question first to prompt the thinking. So I chose this. Yeah. Okay. Then, yeah. So that's why I decided that the Socratic approach really aligns with my teaching philosophy, and it will start to, okay, so it starts to generate. So I'm not going to like read through everything, because it's just explaining to me why they think this tool will work for me. Okay. And they finally produced the tool. Okay. So the next thing that I have is, because when I open it, it's a HTML file. Okay, let's say I'm a coding here, right? I don't want to do it. It explains to me what it does, and it actually gives me the setup process. So if you have a ChatGPT Plus account, I think you can create your GPT there directly, but I don't. I already have a Claude Pro account, but I don't have one with ChatGPT. So they actually give me a system prompt. So this is something that I thought, okay, I can also input into my instructions as well. But I didn't know what to do with it at all. So I'm like, okay, you give me all these, I don't know how am I going to input this, or how am I going to send it to my parents, right? Because the tool is supposed to work in such a way that you want it to, it's supposed to be interactive. So this is too much information. So I just asked, okay, can I create the GPT in ChatGPT, or can I create it here since I have the Claude account? Let me close this a while. Then it gives me the whole comparison of why using ChatGPT, custom GPT versus using a Claude artifact. So again, I didn't know what was a Claude artifact at first. Then I realized, oh, it's actually like an interactive system. So that they mentioned that it was shareable via link. Okay, the problem here is when it produced this for me, so this is what they call an artifact. It has the whole thing up, and this is actually how it looks like on my website. But here comes another problem for me. I don't know how I can embed this whole thing onto my website. Yeah, so that's when I started seeking help, and John gave me a very good suggestion. He asked me to, because I already have a current website myself, so he asked me whether I can actually plug the whole coding file into my website. I'm using Lovabale, by the way, and Lovabale is really like ChatGPT for website. It's really also great for people with no knowledge of any coding or how to build a website. Yeah, so I was like, oh, that's a very good idea. So I went on to my Lovable project. Okay, so this is how I actually started. I have the coding file. The coding file is really like in a HTML file book. And I decided to, so I did was, okay, sorry, let me go back a little bit. Yeah. So I put my whole file inside. Then I say that I really thought of it like ChatGPT. So I say, please embed this HTML file or my custom GPT into a workable file on my website and put it under the resources, because it's my resources tab. And on the landing page, please create a tag link to attract visitors to use it. Yeah, so if people land on my landing page, they can also try it out themselves. This will bring them. So go into this. So this is actually how the thing looks like when I tap on the link. And this one actually popped out to make it bigger. Okay, I'll put it here. Yeah, so this was actually after some revisions already. Initially, right, I only have the targeted help. That means I need something specific and you just type in what you want. So after some feedback from one of my parents, I improved the tool such that students who want to explore words or grammar rules can also use it. So I'm going to just start with something specific. Let's say if you have a specific homework help that you need, and I come across this to call apprehensive, and I don't know what's the meaning of the word. Okay, so maybe I'm at P3. Then I come across this big word, apprehensive. Okay, I have to set the level first. Okay, so you can see that these are all the levels. Let's set P3, P4. And okay, then I'll say, okay, what does apprehensive mean? Okay, so you see, it doesn't tell you straight away the meaning of the word, because if they want to, they can just get it from Google. So you say, okay, when you hear the word, what does it make you think of? Does it sound like happy, sad, or something else? Then I'll be like, I don't know. Let's say I really don't know. Okay, and this is one of the most common answer that our students will give us. Okay, then I'll really talk to you. Okay, no worries, you don't know. So that's when it's encouraging as well. Okay, so maybe the kid really don't know. Okay, I tried with, okay, I think it's a happy or sad feeling. Then he'll tell me, okay, you're on the right track, or something if I wear a put there. Alright, passive actually means being a little worried. And because I pitch it at P3 to 4 level, they give you some really very relatable examples. So for example, May was apprehensive about her first day of school because she didn't know anyone. So relating to the kind of like the students' feelings in that sense, or the boy felt apprehensive before getting his vaccination shot, so injection, so definitely feel apprehensive. They will say a common mistake is to actually confuse in this word because the spelling looks almost the same. Alright, then a related word like a synonym is anxious, but notice that because this is pitch at P3 to 4 level, they may not know what is a synonym, which is the same meaning word, similar meaning word, right? They'll just say related word, like, when you see anxious, it actually means apprehensive as well. Okay, so these are some of the ways that a student can learn. Like for example, in this case, this is a vocab word. Let's say I want to try to ask it to explain a grammar rule for me. So this was a very good idea given by my parent, because she said when she reaches here, right, I didn't have this reset button initially. So it means that you have to continue the conversation. So I got the system to actually put in this reset button. And let's say, okay, I go back to the main page again, explore a grammar rule. Then maybe I click one. Now I say I explore. So subject verb agreement. Then, yes, so this is all the things that it comes out. Oh, I forgot to set my level. So in this case, maybe I'll choose P5 to 6. Okay, but yeah, sorry. I always have to set the level first, which I always forget. And yeah, okay, sorry, I'll do practice here myself. See, I still improve on this subject verb agreement. So again, they will ask you what does it mean, subject agree, but that's the, okay. So they must agree with each other. So for example, then they'll give you that, will continue to ask you probing question because it's based on the Socratic approach. So the cat walks, what's the difference? Oh, I don't know again. Okay, so you'll go into explanation. Again, this is pitch at the P5, P6 level. It looks like it's quite a bit to digest, but I feel that it's really a very handy tool that the student can bring around. And I actually used it in my lesson yesterday to demonstrate to my P5 class. If you run into such a problem when you're doing homework, right, you can make use of this. Yeah. Okay, going back to my PowerPoint. Okay. Yeah. So I've already showed everyone how this actually can be done. Okay, you can either explore a word and have other help. And again, I got the feedback from a parent. That's why I actually revised my system a little bit. I feel that there's still some changes that I need to revise. But I just want to let everyone know that actually it's not as scary as it seems, because coming from someone who has no coding knowledge at all, I studied no computing at all. This is really quite easy when you have like tools like Claude and Lovable to help you, because they are really built to help noobs like us. Yeah. So as you can see, I really did quite a bit of work on my Claude. I continue to so how he actually managed to get all the feedback from me, right, is that I fed it like information. Like I even fed it the parents' feedback and asked, can you improve my prompt based on their feedback? And it managed to do it straight away. Yeah. Yeah, so they even give it, it's really very clear in that sense. Yeah, I wanted to show this. I thought I've put the feedback, received feedback on this. Can I improve on it? So this is when I put in, and Claude is even able to analyze to you what is the actionable points that you need to actually improve on the tool. So in this case, it was onboarding, like for new users, and reset up to switch the mode. So I think it's really great. So that was how I do and fro with Claude. And you can see that I have a few revised files on my prompt because of that. Then I just keep feeding the new file into my Lovable to improve on it. And that's how I got this whole, switching mode. That's how I got this whole interface working for me on my website. So all the key ways that I will say I got from this whole process is that really you don't need any technical skills. Yeah, you just need your own thinking, your own teaching approach. Okay, you don't need code. Okay, if you have been planning your own lessons, you have been writing your worksheets, you can do this. All right, because Claude already has my whole year of work done, so they know my approach. Yeah, and to be really honest, right, if I want to come to it, it's your teaching philosophy that makes the system prompt. Yeah, so the most important part of building this tool, right, is I know and I believe I know how my students learn. Yeah. And then that thinking will become the instructions for the system prompt to ask. Yeah. And always start small. Just do it one step at a day. I didn't build that in one day. All right. I really did it step by step over a few days because I was testing the prompt and everything. Yeah, so I started with vocabulary and grammar. Maybe later on I will move on to constructing something for composition. I don't know. Yeah, but this is really a start. And of course, always get feedback from real users. I am really very blessed as a parent who gave me very constructive feedback that I couldn't make use of to really improve on my prompt. Yeah. So yeah, you can try it out on my website. And if you like, I can actually share the system prompt for my Claude with you guys as well. Just to give an overall summary, what I actually done here is to show you how you can actually bring a system, to life, just using word alone. So from having the issue, the problem at the very beginning, knowing that, I want to build this for my students. I want them to be able to get vocab and grammar help. That's how that prompts my whole AI tool into action in the first place. And I planted it into Claude and it gave me the system prompt. And no worries if you have no coding knowledge. If you do have an existing website, for my case, it's Lovable, which I find very easy to work with. I plant the whole coding file inside Lovable and it actually converts into a Artifact, which is the interactive like tool that you see on my website for me. And if you're working with other websites, I'm pretty sure that you can embed the code and make it into an interactive tool for you as well. Yeah. And I just want to share that the reason why I really do this, the primary aim is really I want to serve my students first. But at the same time, if my students and the parents find it useful, they may share the link with other parents as well. And this is how you can actually promote your brand, your personal brand, and your personal teaching philosophy. Yeah. One last thing to add, I want to add, Claude is so amazing that when I wanted to do this presentation, right, it actually came out with this whole series of slides. I didn't have to write a single word based on just the conversation I had with Claude on building this prompt. So it came out for this whole slides for me. Yeah. I would say in under 5 minutes, and it's really professional looking. If you have any questions, you can ask me. I'm also happy to share the conversation I had with Claude with you, okay, on how I built this system prompt. Then you can see how you can actually apply it to your own business as well.